victory, conceding in the 91st minute to lose the match. A hot Friday night here in the west of Sydney, and I'm glad to be joined by a slightly jet-lagged, perhaps, Leah Blaney, straight off a trip from China with the young midfielders. A good trip as well.
Thanks, Campbell. Yes, slightly jet-lagged, but so excited that we're kicking off the Liberty A-League tonight with this match between Western Sydney and Central Coast. You can see that there's a healthy crowd filling into the game, and people are ready to get the A-League back under the way.
As am I, and let's have a look at how the sides line up for today. Just the one change for Robbie Hooker's side. Alexia Apostolakis misses out due to only arriving back from international duty with the young Matildas just over 24 hours ago. He can thank Leah Blaney for that one. Holly Caspers takes place in the starting 11, and Sophie Harding starts up top once more after scoring 3 times in her last 2 games. Promising signs for the future as well. It's back-to-back starts for the 15-year-old Talia Younis. As for Emily Husband's side, she's made 3 changes to her starting 11. Faye Bryson is out of the squad, whilst Ergamal and Peter Trimmis drop to the bench, meaning Paige Hayward and Annalise Rasmussen come into the starting 11. But the big one, 18-year-old Tess Quilligan comes in for her first Liberty A-League appearance, thrown straight into the deep end. A big camp for you, Leah Blaney, in China. Happy with the performance of the team?
Yeah, really happy with how our youth national teams are travelling. Fantastic performances by the youngsters. Any opportunity we get to get high-level match minutes into these girls at this age is one we're going to take with both hands. And all in all, it was a really good trip and experience for our players.
And you mentioned high minutes there. Alexia Apostolakis unable to play today. She played a lot of minutes for you the other day.
Yeah, Lex has got a fair few minutes under her belt, and I think it's a really smart decision by the club to take care of their youth players going into tonight's match.
And what are you expecting from tonight, Leah Blaney? A big match, the first time these sides have ever played against each other. Anything could happen. Yeah,
look, it's a historic match. We've touched on that. It seems to be a healthy crowd pouring into this Wanderers football park, and both sides coming off the back end of wins are going to come in with lots of confidence, and I really think we're going to see an exciting affair.
Of course, Casey Dumont in goal as well. A big addition to this Central Coast Mariners side, although Courtney Newbond was doing very well, highest save percentage in the league prior to Casey Dumont coming in. Yeah, look, I'm sure this has been a very tough decision for the Central Coast. Newbond's been in form, but to add the experience of Dumont to what is a essentially inexperienced team and a younger squad is only going to hopefully propel them to the next level. We are here at Western Sydney Wanderers training facilities. I mean, how good is it for a club, especially for women's football as well, to have such a facility as this for training and for game days as well? Oh, it's a fantastic setup, and you can see the pitch quality there. The Blacktown International Sports Park do a fantastic job of taking care of this facility, and they've gone through a bit of a renovation recently, and you can see the back end of that today. Both sides walking out now. Amy Harrison wearing the captain's armband for the Wanderers, and Taryn King wearing it for the Mariners. But who are you looking out for on the Wanderers side of things today? Look, I'm really excited to see Kush Leroux continue with the good form she's been in. She's been a goal scorer. We're seeing her receive more match minutes for this Western Sydney side. She's pacey, she's electric. There's a lot of good about Kush Leroux's game at the moment. Scored already this season. You can see Talia Younis there as well. Such an exciting player. Was previously the youngest player to ever play in the Liberty A-League. Was beaten the next week by Iskia Brooking. And how about this story? Annalise Rasmussen, what an amazing player at such a young age. Yeah, fantastic story. She's a true coastie, attended the Central Coast International School, a part of their football program, and the Central Coast Mariners throughout her formative years. We saw her get on the score sheet last week, so I'm not surprised that Emily Husband has trusted her in the starting lineup today. Her first start since the opening round. Sophie Harding, 3 goals in her last 2 games. Can she keep it up tonight? I think she can, and similar to Rue, we're seeing Western Sydney utilise their strengths. They've got a newfound positivity in their play. They're picking their moments when they are going forward, and it's really paying off for this squad. It's been a bit of a tough road for the Wanderers to start the season, but it seems like they're starting to pick it up a little bit. Yeah, I think they are, and you can see Robbie Hooker's, he's come in at a later stage, and he's
been implementing his playing style a little bit later in the piece. Most coaches bring that in a pre-season, and I really don't think we see this Western Sydney Wanderers side hit their straps till later on in the season with his imprint.
Robbie Hooker only brought in 10 days prior to the season. Casey Rybelt leading the officiating team, helped out by Emma Cockbeck, Michaela Ryan, and the big one, Sarah Ho, in game 100. How amazing is that as well, with the bub there too?
Oh, it's fantastic. We talk about female leaders in the game in multiple roles, and Sarah Ho is one of them. She's been around a long time. She's a true professional. Great to see Bub on pitch, who I actually met at our Youth World Cup. She travelled with Sarah to Costa Rica in 2022, so the youngster certainly is well travelled, along with her mum.
Got plenty of frequent fly points, I'm sure. Casey Dumont, we mentioned her just before. How big can she be for this Central Coast Mariners side? Basically the best pickup you could get in terms of a goalkeeping department mid-season as well.
It's an enormous signing. We know what Casey brings on the pitch, but she's also a terrific leader off the pitch. And when you've got a new side, you've got a side full of youth, it's always great to have those experienced heads out there.
Sarah Ho first started her assisting and refereeing career back in 2003, 20 years ago. Has she officiated any of your games, Leah? And do you have any stories you can tell us on air, that is?
I actually walked into a PDHPE class in Year 12, and Sarah Ho was my casual teacher. If it gives you a bit of insight into the many talents of her as a referee as well as an educator off the pitch.
Well, Robbie Hooker's not happy about something there. He's been able to imprint his identity onto this side, starting to do so. Again, only brought in 10 days prior to the season. How much of a challenge is that, and unique to this kind of situation?
Yeah, look, it's always difficult to go in with a new group and then try and implement a new playing style possibly and get to know a playing group. And I think Hooks has done a fantastic job with that in a short period of time.
Emily Husband, one of 2 female coaches in the Liberty A-League. Obviously coached Sydney University in the New South Wales MPLW. Plenty of that identity throughout this team. How's she adapting to life in the Liberty A-League, do you think?
Yeah, look, I think it helps that there's consistency between what she was executing in the NPL New South Wales with Union and this Central Coast squad, and a really positive start for Emily Husband this season.
And we are underway here in the Liberty A-League, round 7. As Western Sydney Wanderers host the Central Coast Mariners in the side's first ever meeting. What will this fixture hold? What history will be made? Only time will tell. Campbell Johnson and Leah Blaney in commentary today on 10 Play and Paramount Plus. And it is a pleasure to have your company. Here's Taryn King. Wardlow. Bardawea linking up well with Rasmussen. Was with Sydney FC last campaign. Came in mid-season and ended up winning the double. Doesn't get too much better than that in your first taste of Liberty A-League action. Getting a bit of silverware. Now taking her talents to the Central Coast Mariners. More game time for her, one would expect. And as we have seen so far, a great gallery building here in Rudy Hill at the home of the Wanderers. Great to see. And the weather cooling down a little bit too, thankfully for the players out there. Owen with the throw-in. Here's Bardawea. Quilligan in her first Liberty A-League appearance. Hayward brought down. One back by Kushlaroo. Really making the most. Being brought into this starting 11 is Vicky Bruce, the American. spoke earlier this week in the Western Sydney Wanderers' new podcast, hosted by their very own Malia Morris. Podcast Wondering Why. It is out now, and you can go give it a listen. Featured Millie Clegg, Vicky Bruce, and the host, Malia Morris. Here's King. Joined them this season from their rival Newcastle Jets. A sister of Sydney FC. Player and Socceroo, Joel King.
And I'm interested in the tactical battle tonight, Campbell. Both squads have lined up in a 3-5-2 in previous matches.
It's given away. Here's Bardawea, tries to cut back inside. Can't manage to do so, but good work ethic from her to try and win it back. He's sent for a throw-in, though. Here's Gordon. Matos. Holly Casper's just unable to maintain possession. It is an intriguing tactical battle, Leah Blaney.
It is. It leaves both sides susceptible to counter-attacks, given a back three if players aren't able to recover into that back line. And we know that there's speed up top for this Western Sydney side, as well as the speed of Bardawea, who really could expose a back three at Western Sydney, given the time and space.
We've seen how explosive Sophie Harding can be in the past with the Newcastle Jets, and now at the Western Sydney Wanderers. Just perhaps lacking that composure in the past. But in her last few games, has put that to bed. Can she be consistent with it, though? Time will tell. Kush LaRue. Two former Canberra United players, Olivia Price and Kush LaRue, linking up. Is Eunice. Price. It's a good turn. Holly Caspers driving into the box now, holding off Wardlow well. Caspers delivered into the box. Casey Dumont able to hang on and does very well. Casey Dumont to the rescue for her side. And it could be a common theme. McComiskey asked to do a lot, but does very well to chase it down. One back by Paige Hayward, and a great challenge from McComiskey. Here's Wardlow with the throw-in. Rasmussen scored against the Wellington Phoenix with the switch of play. Martin brought down. A big challenge from Vicky Bruce, the American. Here's Quilligan. Played under Emily Husband at Sydney Uni. Wardlow driving forward now. Up by Kush LaRue. McComiskey able to block. Here's Caspers. Intercepted by Annabelle Martin. Bardawea cuts inside, shooting now, just dragged wide. And Sham Karmas perhaps got it covered. But a good effort from Rolla Bardawea.
It's a great strike by Barawiya, and probably a bit of a warning sign to the Western Sydney Wanderers that they need to really protect that central goal zone and not allow players like Galich to receive in between the lines and Barawiya to face forward. Just a little bit of poor individual defending by Bethany Gordon there allows the shot.
Amy Harrison playing in a revised role. It's a good ball in behind from Talia Yunus. Paige Hayward does enough. Here's Rube. Here's Eunice. Big opportunity for her. Back-to-back starts. How bright of a talent can Talia Yunus be? Obviously made a lot of headlines a few weeks ago. But how big is her ceiling?
Yeah, look, she's a super talented youngster. She's one of a few across our league who are doing exceptional and on the rise. She's technically excellent. She's very, very good in tight areas, which her vision and passing range will suit playing players like Sophie Harding and Kush LaRue and Holly Caspers into space.
Debuted as a 14-year-old, breaking Sam Kerr's record. That stood for a very long time. Here's Hayward. Looking for Rasmussen. And Amy Harrison just struggling to maintain possession, bowled it over. And it is called up eventually on Annalise Rasmussen.
Yeah, and look, as you can see, a little bit cheeky from Rasmussen there. Harrison is facing backwards towards the goal line. Potentially, she just allows Harrison to dribble out there and tries to win a corner as opposed to fouling.
Here's Barawiya. Hayward, former Adelaide United player. Good first touch from Isabel Gomez. Here's Martin, delivering towards the back post. Shamkama's out to punch. Heavy collision between Paige Hayward and Kush LaRue, who does come off last. A good bit of play from the Mariners.
Yeah, and as you can see in this 3-5-2 formation, if Annabelle Martin and the Central Coast wingbacks are able to get into those good wide areas and provide deliveries, just lacking a forward runs from the Central Coast Central players there to get on the end of that.
Isabel Gomez with an inventive touch. Former Wellington Phoenix player. Where she got her break. Struggled with injuries over the past few years, though. Here's Dumont. Spent last season with the Melbourne Victory. Opted to play for Hawthorn in the AFLW. And then ended up having some contractual issues with her former club and now finds herself with the Mariners. Oh, and great ball in behind. Just couldn't quite be brought down by Barawiya, but good vision from the defender. Here's Hayward. Central Coast looking very comfortable at the moment. Controlled in their play. Happy to have the ball. Good brand of football at the minute. Here's King. Lifted in behind for Hayward. Lovely ball for Galich. It's marked up by Harrison. Galich cuts back inside, blocked by a wall of red and black. Gomez turns inside of Talia Yunus. Holly Caspers came out to shut it down. Good work rate. But the Wanderers can't make anything of it.
And those are the moments that Western Sydney need to make the most of. When there's space in behind, when Sophie Harding's able to dribble and probably takes it herself then and doesn't play that pass. I think we're going to see a little bit more of an effective attack by Western Sydney.
McComiskey with a vital touch. Wanderers not pressing too much at the moment. Happy for Mariners to have possession. We saw the possession stats just before, quite heavily in favour of Emily Husband's side. Here's Martin. Lovely link-up play with Rasmussen. Bardawia. This is good from the Mariners. Just couldn't quite connect the dots, though. But the right idea, nonetheless. Perhaps Rolla Bardawia tracking back a little bit too much with the ball. Here's McComiskey. Mariners dominating possession, but also doing well in the passing accuracy department. Better than their opponents, at the very least. Here's Yunus. Caspers. Cuts it back. Sophie Harding gets a touch on it. And it does come off the Mariners players last. Much to the disagreement of the captain, Tarrant King. And will be an opportunity for the Wanderers to deliver.
Yeah, and as you can see, Sophie Harding actually does quite well to get in front of Tarrant King there. As a central striker in that 6-yard, 18-yard box zone, if a delivery is being played in, that's actually your job. So really pleasing from Harding, and I think definitely a corner. It's come off a Mariners player.
Price delivering, headed away with some authority by Ash Irwin, and it springs a counter-attack. Paige Hayward trying to find Rolla Bardawia, and Sham Karmas to the rescue for her side. That was a thumping header away from Ash Irwin too.
It was definitely redirected into the right area for Central Coast, and as you can see with Sham Karmas's positioning there, she's high, she's connected to her back line, so it's quite easy for her to sweep up any overhit passes into that space.
Here's Hayward driving forward now. Cuts towards the byline. Gets past McComiskey, still going. Hayward punts it through. And saved at the near post, held on to by Sham Karmas. Good determination from Paige Hayward, though. Here's Rue. Paige Hayward, part of that Adelaide United side that made their first ever finals appearance. Not last season, but the season prior to that. Bianca Galich playing against her former side as well. Good opportunity for her, no doubt. Here's Irwin. Annabelle Martin's touch leads her a little bit astray, but she does end up getting the throw in, the last touch coming off Talia Yunus. Great to see Annabelle Martin back in the Liberty A-League for a Melbourne Victory, Newcastle Jets and Wellington Phoenix player. Bardawia looking for that ball in behind. for Paige Hayward. Just couldn't quite find her, though. This time it's an opportunity for Harding. First time ball punched away by Dumont. To the rescue. Was looking like it'd be a great ball. And punished. Not to be, though. An athletic effort from Dumont. The ball back in now. This time, can they capitalise? They can't do so. It's flicked on. Martin getting away there. And here's a look at that first opportunity. Good work from Sophie Harding. And Casey Dumont saving her side.
It's a fantastic save by Casey to be quick off her line there, and probably a bit of a telling sign of Western Sydney and where they're dangerous. Balls in behind a space where Harding can deliver, and then it just requires obviously forward runs in the box to get on the end of those.
Shamkarmis down as well at the other end. Not entirely sure why. Perhaps motioning that she needs some tape on that right calf. Here is that effort from Dumont. Superman.
Yeah, extremely athletic effort, and she's brave to come out off the line and make sure she gets a punch to that. Had she not, you can see Holly Caspers, speaking of the younger sister, who's also a highly talented football family on that. Holly's obviously in a good position where she can get something on target, so great save by Dumont.
And due to the heat today, there will be a drinks break in each half. A chance to rehydrate and reset, get some instructions. What do you think Emily Husband will be saying to her side? And then what do you think Robbie Hooker will be saying to his?
Look, I think Husband would be pleased with her side's start. They're dominating in possession. It's fairly effective. We're seeing them enter the front third. I think she'll be asking for a little bit more patience and care with that final pass, and make sure that the decision-making is picking out who is in the best position to score in that front third for the Mariners with the possession they're having.
Both sides playing fairly differently today. Mariners happy to play with the ball in possession, make nice angles, things like that. Wanderers, on the other hand, seemingly playing on the break most of the game.
Yeah, and I think that suits this Western Sydney side with the players they have. So for them, it's about making sure they're protecting those central goal zones. When they are going forward, they're being super effective. So they're breaking at speed. They're utilising the speed they have in wide areas. You've got Matos one side, Kush LaRue the other. So they're certainly extremely potent if they can get those two wing-backs high and on that last line and into space.
You can see the possession stats just before 65 odd for the Mariners, 34 for the Wanderers. Very telling. But both sides having good opportunities at each end so far. And blown up by Casey Rybell. Much to the distaste of the travelling fans, perhaps. The home fans made their feelings known.
Yeah, look, I think the Westies aren't too happy about that call, as we can hear.
That's why we love the fans. And remember, your night round is coming in January. Make sure you get your tickets now to see all the games here in Sydney. It's going to be an absolute party. Every game of the Liberty A-League and Isuzu Ute A-League here in the capital of New South Wales.
It's an interesting choice of delivery for Gordon. We've got Dumont with the sun in her eyes there, so I would have thought that the youngster would have opted to potentially deliver that with a little bit of height back post, where it's a little bit difficult for the goalkeeper.
Olivia Price just hanging on to the ankle. That sun setting as well. If you're in that fast stand, make sure you've got your shades out. That's for sure. And here is that moment. Garlich just coming down on the ankle of Liv Price. Here's Gordon. Delivering now, headed away by Rasmussen. And Garlich happy to see the sideline.
Yeah, and once again, just in terms of the youngsters' delivery, I think opting to hit that back post where there's a little bit of indecision between a backline and a goalkeeper, given the positioning of the sun right now, is probably a better option.
Is Badawia. Wardlow. Hayward. Great delivery into the box. Can it find its way to a yellow shirt? Isabel Gomez chasing it down. Akush LaRue able to see it away. Great turn. And just too much on it for Harding. The ball from Holly Caspers. Mariners looking to go once more. The Wanderer is able to shut it down, though. Vicky Bruce has played all over the world. 2 goals this season, too, as a defender. Has played in Scotland, America, her homeland, England, Denmark, Iceland, Cyprus, Sweden, Germany, and now Australia. Here's Badawia driving forward, gets past a pack of Wanderers players and is palmed away by Shem Khamis, who does oh so well, as did Roller Badawia. One of their best opportunities of the game.
Yeah, and that's a great piece of individual brilliance by Badawia. She attacks space, she commits the defenders, she's able to change feet and get a shut off on her non-preferred foot there.
It's taken quickly. Here's Irwin, won by Caspers. Wanderers just reset with Harrison. Matos. Quilligan able to deny Beth Gordon. First appearance for Quilligan. Decent introduction so far. Mariners with 3 shots so far, leading the way at the moment. Fairly dominant from Emily Husband's side as things stand. Garlich with something to prove today against her former side. Harding intercepting. Doesn't get enough on it, though, to forge a counter-attack. Here's Rasmussen. Gomez. King does well to evade Sophie Harding. Gomez once more. Wardlow. Hayward just can't fit it through for Garlich. Quilligan wins it back well. The 18-year-old. Here's Caspers. Feeding through. Twice that time. And goes down. And does win. The free kick and a yellow card going the way of Ash Irwin. Taryn King's not happy with it. And here is that chance once more.
Yeah, and I think Irwin just needs to stay on her feet and look to delay there. She dives in on Price, and Price has gone to ground, so I think warranted. It's a free kick.
You can see here Ash Irwin going down very slowly after the fact as well. She does see a yellow card that time. Olivia Price, Beth Gordon standing over it. And a big opportunity. They've not had a shot on goal as of yet. Not forced Casey Jamont to make a save. Here's Price driving it towards that near post and straight into the arms of Casey Jamont. Not too much effort required. And she does the defensive work too. Able to win it back off Garlich. And they get things started quickly. Here's Wardlow. Bruce going long. Not too much direction on it though. Wanderers seemingly happy just to hit it forward at the minute, hoping the speed of their forwards can get on to the end of it. It's Eunice. Price. Wanderers struggling to get a foothold on this game at the minute. Here's Harrison. Eunice. Caspers, is this the moment for the Wanderers? Cuts back inside, Cush LaRue towards that near post, and Casey Jamont equal to it. Better from the Wanderers, good from Cush LaRue.
Yeah, that's some nice footwork by Cush LaRue to evade her defender there. She's naturally a right-footed player, so the ability to cut on her right foot there, and then it's just some of the decision-making with the delivery. I think she actually needs to cut that back towards the penalty spot where some of her teammates had some more space as opposed to the near-post decision.
Often the better option in those scenarios, cutting it back to that penalty spot. Plenty of entries for the Wanderers, despite not having much possession. 21 so far, fairly even. Another one now for the Mariners towards that near post and the back post for Annalise Rasmussen. And the open goal goes begging.
And that's a fantastic ball across the face by Hayward there. You can see you've got Badawiya who's looking to crash the box. Great decision, and in terms of Rasmussen, she just needed a slight change of pace, and I think she's able to get on the end of that. It's the last 3 to 5 metres where she really should be accelerating and trying to get something on that.
Both sides will be taking another drinks break as well. Had one slightly earlier, and it was an intriguing stat just before. Despite Wanderers not having that much possession, not making too many opportunities in terms of shots on target, they're still entering that final third quite a lot.
They are, and whether that's a little bit of lack of patience by this Western Sydney side, that they're being so direct, potentially I think they look to combine a little bit more and then pick their moments that they are going forward, because we know if they have space in behind, they're super dangerous with that speed. Just lobbing the ball forward, they've been playing some balls that are a little bit straight as well, so probably if they are going to play things in, can they try to hit more diags and get their wingbacks into those spaces as opposed to their central strikers? I think that's going to help against the Central Coast side, especially when they have a back three. The space is around.
So perhaps the quality of those final third entries lacking a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to hit those wide areas with those passes, I think we'll see a lot more effective for Western Sydney.
And what do you think Emily Husband will be saying to her side at the moment? Still quite a bit of time left in this first half. Neither side yet to make a breakthrough. you think it'll be more of the same?
Oh, look, I think they're getting players on the ball in the final third. We just saw a better decision by Paige Hayward there with looking to pick out Rasmussen. So in terms of them, just a little bit on the pass quality and a little bit on the final positioning of some of the players. If Rasmussen is a metre ahead there and a little bit more proactive with her forward run with a change of speed, potentially she gets on the end of that. So they're definitely creating chances.
Annalise Rasmussen may just be kicking herself at that one just before. Happens frequently, though.
I think she will be, but what's also so pleasing about that is we're talking about an 18-year-old in this conversation who's getting into goal-scoring chances for this Central Coast side.
Definitely making the right run. Here's Harrison. Back underway. Which side will score the first goal in this fixture? Their first meeting. Mariners, obviously, their previous stint in the league coming before the Wanderers existed. That's well worked by the Mariners. Just to win back possession, safely hang on to it, but it's given away. Beth Gordon driving forward and cut out equally. For the moment, at least, they do come away with it. The Mariners, Bardawia, Galich, Annabelle Martin, streaming forward. Amy Harrison cuts it out with ease. Heavy first touch by Eunice. Didn't get enough on it. Didn't keep it close to her. Here's Rasmussen. Striking but blocked. Here's Martin.
And it's just that final pass that the Mariners need to get on top of and play with a little bit more composure and just pay attention to that little detail with that pass quality where you're finding people's feet in those moments.
Here's Irwin. Dumont. Quilligan out wide for Irwin once more. One back by the Wanderers. Here's McComiskey. Formerly of Canberra United. Common theme running through both these sides. And Casey Dumont. Safe at the near post. Was kept in play well by Sophie Harding. About 10 minutes left in this first half. Here's Harrison. A real Swiss Army knife for this Wanderers side. Galich driving forward. Not too many options ahead of her. Will find Bardawia, this time off the left, and saved once more at that near post by Sham Karmas, who's putting in a fantastic display and hanging on to those goalkeeping gloves.
And that's a nice little bit of combination play by Galich. You can see the quality of her on the ball, and the weight of the final pass is excellent. I think for Bardawia there, I think she actually needs to dribble and go towards Karmas there. We know Karmas is an excellent shot stopper when she's set. So I ask the question of the goalkeeper, try and engage her in a 1v1 as a better option there.
Here's Hayward to take the corner. It's great to see Sham Karmas getting good minutes after the Wanderers recruited Kaylee Collins, the American. The ball in now, punched away by Karmas. Shouts of a handball. And it is given either that or the foul by Casey Rybell. Here it is once more. The ball in from Paige Hayward. Play is back underway. In the west of Sydney, McComiskey. This is good from the Wanderers. Eunice. Matos. Threaded through once more, continues her run. And wins her side a corner. That's good from the Wanderers. Nice play out of traffic there.
Excellent passage of play. Their players are connected, so the passing distances are shorter. They're able to change sides. They've got people positioned in between lines to do so, so they're actually breaking a line each time they play an angled pass. Really good build-up by Western Sydney Wanderers.
And a smart inside run from Matos as well, just to continue not overlapping but coming inside.
It was, and she's probably a bit of an unsung hero for this Western Sydney side. Enormous work ethic and outputs.
Here's Price delivering. Rising is McComiskey, bundled over by Annalise Rasmussen. No foul given, and it will be a goal kick. And she is that workhorse of this Wanderers side, Danica Matos.
She is. She's up and down, left and right side, and you can see how she's best utilised when she can get in that front third and affect the play.
Here she is once more. 8 shots in the game so far, yet to hit the back of the net though. Here's McComiskey. Bruce driving out of defence. 2 goals this season, brought down. And it is a foul on Rolla Bardawia.
And that's clever by Vicky Bruce. As a defender, she's looking to overload that midfield area by attacking space, by stepping in front of Bardawia. She has 2 choices. She either has to slow down or foul, and as you can see, Bardawia chooses the later, and that's very difficult for a striker to defend against when a centre-back does that.
Sophie Harding taking a turn out wide, fairly fluid forward line for this Wanderers side between Harding, Rue and Caspers. Matos does keep it in play, only momentarily though. Here's King. Hayward able to flick it on, but to no avail. Rue down the line. Good throw in for Caspers. Still Caspers. Able to keep it in play, but one back by the Mariners. Here's Galich. Nice switch for Martin. Good first time ball for Rasmussen. Just not with the pace she needs though.
No, and you can see the intent in possession for this Central Coast side. They're breaking quickly with their wing-backs and getting players like Annabelle Martin in wide areas on the ball. And then that's just about the individual quality of the player, where she wraps her foot around it and actually rolls that in the path of Rasmussen.
It's one back by Rue. Driving forward past Wardlow. Kush LaRue looking for assistance. First ball in for Caspers, and not the right decision perhaps. Had Bethany Gordon waiting in the wings for it.
Yeah, I think definitely a little bit more patience needed by Western Sydney in that moment where they look to combine as opposed to delivering when you don't have people in the box.
Is Quilligan. Plenty of space on that far side. Danica Matos able to cut it out. for her side. And a fantastic turnout here tonight. Really great to see. Not the pass she wanted, McComiskey. Galich able to cut it out with ease. Good pressure from the Mariners. Rolla Badawiya with a good performance so far today. Hard working. Here's Badawiya brought down by McComiskey. Draws the foul very well. Does Rolla Badawiya.
Yeah, and as you can see, Badawiya is facing backwards there. So for McComiskey, she just needs to stay on her feet and not allow Badawiya to turn or be fouled. Her team now is in a position where they're having to defend a free kick in a very dangerous area. We know the quality of Bianca Galich on set pieces, or Hayward's should it chosen to deliver the left.
It is Galich towards that back post. It is a good one, headed back in. Rasmussen, and almost the extraordinary from Annalise Rasmussen. Well worked routine though, just heading it back towards the box on that far side. Here's Harding. Can she cut it back? Taryn King is equal to it for the Mariners. The right decision though from Sophie Harding, just not quite the execution. Here's Eunice, the close control. Just can't quite keep it in play though. And not a bad set piece all in all.
No, it's a good delivery to the intended target, Taryn King.
Time running out in this first half. Here at Wanderers Football Park. Last touch coming off Vicky Bruce. Bit of attention from Annalise Rasmussen. Mariners just happy to move their way down the pitch. 4 minutes to be added on. Here at Wanderers Football Park, can either side make the most of it? Delivered now, and Casey Dumont able to hang on. Does very well to read the play there. Here's King. Gomez. Irwin. Great ball in for Badawiya. Patient from Amy Harrison. McComiskey driving out of defence. Good ball in behind for Kush LaRue. Has options in the middle. Delivers towards that back post, and they open the scoring. Sophie Harding with her 4th goal in her last 3 games. It just had to be Sophie Harding. Her purple patch continues.
And that's a really nicely worked action down this right-hand side. We've got central strikers who are in central areas able to finish, and I think that's the difference compared to other efforts down this right-hand side in this first half. We've got wing-backs delivering. Kush LaRue then had 3 or 4 options in Eunice bombing into the box, in Harding, in Caspers. By Western Sydney getting numbers forward and in central areas, they're going to reap rewards off this wide area attack.
It was a good delivery from Kush LaRue, and you can see the numbers just not marked. Sophie Harding, free header in the box. Criminal And they do take the lead. The Western Sydney Wanderers complete. And against the run of play. That's physical from Irwin. And Sophie Harding is in fine form at the moment.
She definitely is. The amount of positivity in her play this season with getting in and around the box and actually finishing chances now. We're seeing a little bit of a different Sophie Harding this season, given that she's more clinical and just seems to have more confidence about herself.
I was about to say, that's one of the things that with Sophie Harding, she's been very highly rated, great physical traits, her speed, power, but perhaps that composure in front of goal, not quite there in previous years, but now seemingly clicking for it. Here's Gordon. Giving the ball away momentarily. Does well to win it back off Butterweir, though. McComiskey. Caspers. Here's Bruce.
And I love that we can hear a bit of Robbie Hooker in the background, encouraging his players to rotate positions and be fluid.
Great to hear him coaching from the sidelines, that's for sure. I'm sure he'll be happy with his side at halftime now. Their resilience shown. That's well read by Caspers. Marked by Hayward. Matos. Back for McComiskey. Headed up by the Mariners. Galich. And that is half-time here at Wanderers Football Park. Right at the death. Sophie Harding proving the difference for her side. Her first shot on target. Her fourth goal in her last 3 games. Her purple patch continues and gives the Western Sydney Wanderers the lead at the break. It is Western Sydney Wanderers 1, Central Coast Mariners 0. Well, it was a big first half. Central Coast Mariners really leading the way in terms of possession, hanging on to the ball, creating chances, getting into that final third. But it's one chance, that's all you need.
Exactly, Campbell. I think the Central Coast Mariners going in probably feeling a little bit hard done by, given the chances that they were created in the front third. This one, as an example, just half a yard off by Annalise Rasmussen. Had she scored, they go a deserved 1-0 up in this moment.
They'll be feeling a little bit hard done by at halftime, being a goal down, perhaps not deserving it. We can see now just how many chances they had in this first half. And Rolla Butterweir with plenty of golden opportunities. Yeah,
she's definitely been extremely lively throughout the first 45. And I dare say Emily Husband will want to continue to get her on the ball. It's just a bit of the decision-making piece for her in that front third with some finishes.
And this was the decisive moment right here, Leah Blaney.
Excellent delivery by Kush LaRue. Touched on the fact that Western Sydney now have their central strikers in the box not delivering. So they're in great positions. Clinical header by Sophie Harding.
Well, she is in some purple patch, Sophie Harding. And here is the stats. Just under 40% possession from the Western Sydney Wanderers. Happy to play on the break. And you can see why. Their goal coming from a counter-attack. What do you see in these stats, Leah?
I think the stats reflect the game. Obviously, Central Coast with majority of the possession, but just need to be a little bit more decisive and better decision-making with that final third.
Well, it was a big first half, an exciting first half, and plenty more is to come in the second stanza. Stick around with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Puts them gaining. Is that better? Give me a little bit of play, not much, but a little bit.
Welcome back to Wanderers Football Park, where the home side do lead at the break thanks to a very late Sophie Harding goal, a thumping header. And there she is, getting some applause and high fives from the home fans, really against the run of play, Leah Blaney.
Yeah, it definitely was, and you can see the result of Kush LaRue in space. She's able to get in behind there, and a great delivery to Sophie Harding, who the timing of her jump, her positioning, the ability to redirect it low away from the goalkeeper. It's an excellent finish on goal.
And her purple patch is something special at the moment. Her 4th goal in her last 3 games. Can she add to that in this second half? And this is the big matchup of the game so far.
It is, and we've seen Butterweir. She's been getting in good positions. It's all about just being clinical with her finishing, as we saw with Harding. 1 shot, 1 goal. Butterweir's had 3 chances, no goals. So that's the challenge for Butterweir in this half. Be more clinical.
Sham Karmas making 2 saves at her near post to deny Roller Butterweir, who's also playing a little bit of an interesting role, holding up the ball quite a lot as well.
She is. Central Coast have played a good brand of football this first half. I do think they're a little bit hard done by in terms of the ability to retain possession and create goal-scoring chances, going down 1-0, and Wanderers really have only created that 1 chance.
At halftime, I'm sure the coaches would have said plenty of things at halftime. What do you think they would have said at halftime to either side, and where do you see the second stanza going?
Look, scoring just before the half, this Western Sydney side is going to go into the sheds full of confidence. Hooks is going to ask his side to retain a little bit more possession, I think, pick and choose their moments when they're going forward a little bit better. In terms of Central Coast, some good football on display. Husband's going to just want them to be more clinical. You know that you've got the likes of Peter Trimmis who can come off this bench. We've got Ergamal as well, who have both returned from international duty, who can make an impact, and there she is.
Peter Trimmis coming on at half-time. Annalise Rasmussen making way, perhaps a little bit more speed.
Absolutely, just a little bit more mobility there, and we know the quality Trimmis adds to this Central Coast side with that, as well as her ability to score goals.
We'll see what she can do in this second half as Western Sydney Wanderers host the Central Coast Mariners. Sophie Harding with the first goal in this fixture. The first ever meeting between these two sides. We'll get the result at the end of the day. 45 minutes between that and the result. And an early foul drawn by Maddie McComiskey. They get underway quickly. Here's Bruce dropping back into midfield. Holly Casper's just unable to track it down. Cassie Dumont with a fairly solid game so far. Hasn't been asked to do a whole lot as of yet. Plenty of direction on the field, I think it's fair to say. Important for sides to have those players on the field who really marshal the troops around. Act as coaches on the pitch. It just went out of play. D'Amica Mados just couldn't quite keep it in on that occasion. Central Coast Mariners in that first half, controlling possession, playing the way they want to play, a good brand of football. Nothing to show for it at the moment, though. Will their luck turn in this second half?
Yeah, and just on that, Campbell, we know that they've got Ergamol who's potentially available off the bench, who can add some firepower and maybe be a little bit more clinical in front of goal for this Central Coast side.
Chinese international, just back from international duty as well.
Yeah, she had 2 games for the Chinese national team in the US, and I dare say she would have arrived recently, so it's a smart decision by the club to take care of this player who's just returning from international activity.
Another player returning from international activity, Alexia Apostolakis from the Wanderers, with the young Matildas, coached by the person to my right, Leah Blaney. A good few games over there.
Yeah, excellent few games over there. High-level match minutes, some quality performances by some of our youngsters, so the future is bright.
The future is bright. The kids are all right. Exciting times for Australian football, which has had a brilliant year in the women's space, that's for sure, as Sophie Harding just can't quite keep it to create a good opportunity, as it were, but they do win a corner, however. Amy Harrison just getting some H2O in. And Olivia Price to take the corner. Here's Price, delivered towards that back post, made its way all the way through the Wanderers players. Here's Gordon, great ball for Eunice, driving is Eunice, big crunching tackle from Annabelle Martin. No foul. And he's drawn up, though, just to check in on Talia Eunice, the 15-year-old. Welcome to the Liberty A-League.
Yeah, and I think it's fair that the free kick wasn't rewarded. It's a great challenge by Annabelle Martin. It's well-timed. You know, great to see the youngster in the front third looking to dribble and take players on, but it's certainly an experienced challenge by Annabelle Martin.
That is truly a welcome to the Liberty A-League moment. Welcome to women's football for Talia Eunice, who debuted at 14 years of age not too long ago. Wanderers have had 2 players debut this season at 14 years of age, both becoming the youngest ever player. Talia Eunice first off, and then Askia Brooking beating a record just the next week. Here's Bartawea, can she get her goal? It is her 3rd on target, but once more Sham Karmas hanging on to it, and what a game she's having so far.
Yeah, it's easy pickings for Sham Karmas. She's covered that near post quite well. And I think for Bartawea, the Wanderers defence have done a good job at showing her outside that central goal zone, where the difficulty of the angle to shoot from is quite hard.
Here's Martin. Can't find a teammate. And it's great that Robbie Hooker is putting faith in Sham Karmas. I'm sure there'd be a lot of pressure to play the visa player that is Kaylee Collins, the American goalkeeper, who did start the season but is now finding her place on the bench.
Yeah, look, in terms of international recruitment, you would hope that our internationals coming in were of the level that they are better than who's in place. But as we can see, Sham Karmas has obviously beaten her out in training, or possibly whatever the story is with an injury there or whatnot, and Sham's really taken on this role and is doing a fantastic job.
More than holding her place in the side is Sham Karmas. Is Gomez. Dumont. Just can't quite find Paige Hayward on that far side. A great crowd here in Blacktown at Wanderers Football Park. The weather's starting to cool a little bit. A hot day in Sydney. And tomorrow, set to be even hotter. Certainly a beach day. Leah Blady. The ball down the line. Looking for Sophie Harding, the goal scorer. And the woman in form at the moment.
And it's an interesting one with Harding's form, given that I think Hooker was actually a defender for our Socceroos. So whoever's working with this player in that environment with her finishing, again, a lot more clinical this season.
Here she is now. Goes down, though. Casey Rybelt thought about it. Didn't give it, though. Perhaps the defender in Robbie Hooker just able to teach her how to get around defences. And someone who's defended against oncoming attackers. Emily Husband not too happy at the moment. Plenty of thinking going on, no doubt. How they can turn this around. A foul drawn by Kushalaroo.
Yeah, in terms of the momentum of the second half, it started a little bit more towards Western Sydney. So for Husband, she's going to want that momentum to shift. They had the better of the possession in the first half, and they controlled the game with the ball, and that's the space for most part you want to be in as a coach.
And conceding right before half-time as Urgamal getting ready to come on. Can really play tricks on you mentally. We'll get back to that in just a moment. As Beth Gordon and Olivia Price standing over it. Price to deliver towards that near post, punched away by Dumont. They'll get a second bite, though. Lifted high, Dumont standing over it. It's an own goal. Turned in by Taryn King. And that goal right before the break has completely turned this fixture around. The Wanderers double their advantage in the most unlikely of circumstances.
Yeah, and that's an excellent delivery by Olivia Price just to redirect that. In terms of Casey Dumont, she needs to come out with conviction and collect that.
Rolla Badawia making way. Gamal coming on.
Which camera?
A big addition for this side is Urgamal. We've spoken quite at length about how her injection can change things. 55 minutes in, she's now on. How do you think her addition will make the change for the Mariners?
Yeah, look, she's an experienced player. She's a proven goal scorer for the Central Coast. So just in terms of possibly being a little bit more clinical in front of goal, I think it's a good addition and a smart sub by Husband.
Featured for China as well at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, playing over 100 minutes in their campaign. Experienced player. Badawia, probably the better of the Central Coast Mariners attackers. 3 shots on target, nothing to show for it though. So a new look front line for the Mariners in this second half. Peter Trimis on as well. Is Caspers. Gets past Irwin. Caspers back inside, and Casey Dumont hangs on.
And you can see the youngster Talia Eunice back post there. A little bit cleaner decision-making by Caspers, and I think we see Eunice in on goal.
I'll tell you what, Amy Harrison has been very clean at the back for the Wanderers. Good first touch, and Annabelle Martin going down heavily. Here's Caspers. Tees it up. Matos striking. Not quite the sweetest of contacts from her. Casey Dumont happy to send it forward. Brought down well by Urgamal. Is Gordon. But a composed figure in the heart of that back line. Amy Harrison has played all over the park this season and last season too. Up front in the midfield. Now at the heart of this defence. Really setting the tempo from the back.
Yeah, tempo is exactly what she sets, and I think it shows Hooker's intent to have a ball-playing centre-back on the pitch in that position, in Harrison.
Here's Harding. The strike is blocked. Annabelle Martin just heading it out of play. Here's Matos. Final third entry is really high at the moment for the Wanderers. 49 in total to their opponents, 36. And the quality of them improving greatly in this second half. Harrison fouled by Quilligan. Driving out of the back. Here is that foul.
Yeah, and she's definitely caught Harrison slightly late. I don't think any malice in it, but given the pace that Harrison was moving at forward, I can see why the referees awarded the free kick here.
Smartly drawn by Amy Harrison as well, showing her experience. Here's Gordon. Played short, straight off the training ground as Olivia Price wound up. And it should be straight off the training ground here at Wanderers Football Park. They're used to this pitch, that's for sure. Here's Harrison. Kush LaRue blocked by Ash Irwin. Harrison getting more and more forward in this second half. They've got a nice cushion. Draws the foul once more of Isabel Gomez. Amy Harrison really coming alive in this second half. Isabel Gomez getting a talking to from Casey Rybell.
Yeah, and it's definitely a foul by Gomez, who puts in an enormous shift for this Central Coast side. The defensive work of this young player, I'm not surprised she's involved in a duel, and now it's just about being a little bit smarter with that contact.
It's great to see her getting regular minutes as well back at Central Coast Mariners, or now at Central Coast Mariners. Really stood out a few seasons ago for the Phoenix.
Fantastic to see, and she pulls a lot of the strings for this Central Coast side in midfield.
As Gordon delivering, headed up by the Mariners. Now the opportunity for Caspers. Can they follow it up still? It is blown up. Casey Jamont with plenty to say to Casey Rybelt as well. She's not happy about it. Here's Casey Jamont.
Yeah, and as you can see, it's well defended with the initial contact by Ash Irwin there. But for the Central Coast side, the concerning thing is that there's two players unmarked, and they're having to scramble in that moment as opposed to dealing with the ball during second phase there and redirecting it into a good area.
Tell you what, I don't quite know what Casey Jamont was complaining about on that occasion. There's Matos delivering, takes a touch on its way through, not steered goal bound though, much to the delight of the Mariners. Not entirely sure what Casey Jamont was really having a problem with.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was the strike after the whistle was blown on goal, but you know, essentially she should be organising the back line and probably having a go there that there were two players unmarked.
Here's Quilligan. Martin. Vicky Bruce thinking the ball's hers, not to be though. Came off her last, the American. Peter Trimmer straight into the action. Here's Mariners' side off the bench at half-time. Coming on for Annalise Rasmussen. Bruce with a vital touch there. Here's Karmas. He's able to clear. Gomez. That's a really nice first touch from Isabel Gomez. And he's blocked though. The Wanderers look to go the other way. Quilligan in her first game, holding her own. Here's Ergamal. Sloppy ball back, won by Holly Caspers. Here's Gordon. Such a consistent performer for this Wanderers side. Here's Beth Gordon. Western Sydney through and through too. It is sent forward by the Wanderers. Can they chase it down? Dumont able to come out. It is cleared eventually. Holly Caspers perhaps coughing a stray foot from Casey Dumont. Or perhaps just landing awkwardly. One of those 50-50 balls.
Yeah, and I think for this Western Sydney side, they'd be hoping that everything's all right with Caspers here. She's had an enormous output all night on this last line with making forward runs. She's a brave player. And another one like Harding and Rue, who in previous seasons have been with this club but not as effective. But for whatever reason at the moment, the Western Sydney are getting the best out of these players.
And a change being made for the Mariners. Brianna Woodall coming on and making way. Tess Quilligan in her first Liberty A-League appearance, well and truly holding her own. And now Brianna Woodall, the American-born Mexican midfielder, making her way onto the pitch. A good addition to this Mariners side. What can she do to change the game now?
Look, she's a clever player, and I'm sure she's been brought on because Emily Husband feels like she has goals, and I'm hoping we see her get into goal-scoring positions and create and link up and really showcase why she's being brought out as an international into this league.
Plenty to do for this Mariners side. They have to turn it around. At this point, do you perhaps stray from what you're trying to do to try and get a goal, get the win, get anything out of this game? Still plenty of time to play.
Look, I think there's plenty of time left. Western Sydney at the moment have slightly a little bit more of the momentum in terms of retaining the ball in their front third and putting a bit of pressure on Central Coast. If they can break this pressure and just keep the ball for longer periods of time, we're going to see more glimpses of what we saw in the first half, where they're creating half chances and playing some good football.
Brianna Woodall, her first involvement in the Liberty A-League, her debut. Her first taste of football in Australia. Can she make the most of it? Can she send a message to her coach, Emily Husband? An experienced player too. Playing in Europe. In the Austrian Bundesliga. There's Reindorf, Altach. And in Mexico as well, here's Trimis. Bruce. Happy to see it away. Perhaps took a touch off Trimis last and did so. And it is well done by Vicky Bruce in the end. Matos, the heartbeat of this side. Taryn King sending it forward. That's good play from Ergamar. Just holding off her defender and drawing the foul too. Very well done from the Chinese international.
Really clever by Ergamel. You can see that by pitting her centre back there, it's very difficult for her to step in front and win the ball. So she shields well. She's nice and low. Eventually, when she's facing backwards, she does really, really well here to not allow the Western Sydney player to make the initial contact and then draw the foul.
A golden opportunity here for the Mariners. Right in front. Bianca Galich standing over it. Prime area to have a hit.
And it's difficult if Galich is going to opt to get this up and down from this distance. Potentially she drives it low and hard, and I think is a good route to goal.
Here is Galich on target and a brilliant save from Sham Karmas. Was exactly what she was after, Bianca Galich. But Sham Karmas equal to it.
Yeah, fantastic save by Karmas. It's a little bit easier given that she has opted to flight the ball with the concern of overhitting it. That Galich has to take something off it, so it's easier for Karmas to get across and get a hand to.
They'll get another opportunity here. It's laid off by Annabelle Martin in the box now for the Mariners. First time strike by Isabel Gomez. Just doesn't quite hit it as cleanly as she was after. Caspers can't send it forward for her side. Frantic stuff now. Ergamal. That's a good ball in. Galich. Still Ergamal. Trimis. Cuts inside. Beth Gordon does enough to win it back for her Western Sydney Wanderers. Here's Irwin. Ergamal. Really involved since her introduction into the game, making a big difference in their build-up play. And can they capitalise on it? Here is Ergamal. Getting her head to it. A lot to do for her, though. And does put it off target in the end.
And it's just interesting to see for this Central Coast side. We can see Ergamal's being used as a central figure. They're finding her feet and they're able to bounce things off her, which will change the dynamic of the Central Coast attack a little bit. We'll see players in wider areas potentially making forward runs and a little bit of third man running as a possible route to goal.
Gemma Ferris coming on. Talia Eunice's day comes to an end. The 15-year-old, a more defensive substitution, perhaps from Robbie Hooker, looking to shore up the game.
I think so. Gemma's a sound defensive player. She's going to be disciplined. She's going to sit in front of that back three. She's got excellent distribution. I think a great tactical substitute by Hooker.
Oh, and just heading it back into the path of Holly Caspers now. Sophie Harding! It's her fifth in her last three. She is on fire. Incredible. She makes it 3 for her side. And her purple patch is on.
It's so pleasing to see for the youngster. She's taken a great first touch forward. It's her non-dominant foot. She just has so much more confidence and conviction when she's striking the ball this season.
A brace for her. And don't you love to see it? 3 for the Wanderers. Took a touch on its way through. Casey Jamont struggling with that deflection. Either way, Sophie Harding will take it. Was going on goal beforehand, so it should count as hers. Here's Gordon. The mountain for the Mariners to climb, getting even taller and harder to do so. And what a lift for the Wanderers. They won in their previous match. Can they go back to back? Here's Harrison. Ferris sitting at the base of this midfield. Allowing Beth Gordon to get a bit more forward. And just can't keep it in on that far side. The Mariners. Ergamal just struggling to keep it in play. 3 shots on target, 2 goals. Her 5th of the campaign. A former Newcastle player. Really making the most of her opportunity. Born in England, Sophie Harding, but moved to Australia at the age of 6.
Yeah, she's a Manly United NPL New South Wales product, and even during her teenage years, extreme pace. Very, very good player when there's space in behind, and as we've touched on, it's just great to see her being clinical this season.
Spent 2 seasons at the Newcastle Jets, made 25 appearances, scoring twice, and now she scored 5 alone this season. Olivia Price, a little bit ginger after that tackle. Good to see her being able to walk, though. Should be able to continue by the looks of things. And we'll get things underway once more here at Wanderers Football Park. Here's Martin. Gomez. And the foul is drawn. Annabelle Martin just struggling to get going after that one. A little bit of a knock, perhaps. Perhaps just caught on the ankle as well. And that is the end of Olivia Price's day. Ella Abdulmasi taking her place. And it's one straight back by the Wanderers, given away way too cheaply by the Mariners. Can they double down? Sophie Harding on a hat-trick, delivering into the box, into the arms of Casey Jamont. Bruce and Annabelle Martin coming together strongly. And the Mariners do come out on top. Good first touch. Ergamal. Back for Hayward. Trimis. They're struggling to get any decent build-up and get the shot away. Brianna Woodall and Peter Trimis just getting in each other's way. Good shielding from Paige Hayward there. And Amy Harrison out of defence for the Wanderers, just to steady the ship a little bit. She sends it long now. Jamont. Ergamal. Edge of the box now. Trying to tee it up for a teammate. Bianca Galich just can't make her way through the traffic, and is cleared by the Wanderers.
And Western Sydney are doing a really good job that when their pressing lines are beat at getting numbers behind the ball in the 18-yard box and making it very difficult for Central Coast to get a clear shot off, even if they are in behind.
Here's Wardlow. Delivering into the box, headed away by Vicky Bruce. Brought down that time by Galich. She did very well to bring it down, get the strike away. Hit it well too, but just couldn't quite beat Sham Karmas. It's a good effort against her former side. Just couldn't quite pick a corner on that occasion.
Yeah, and as you can see on the replay, the quality of Galich to bring that out of the air and actually keep that ball down. Now it's just about redirecting it to a bottom corner on that volley.
Ferris dispossessed. Ergamal. Galich has had a good game today. Does give away possession though. Here's Bruce. Massey. Abdul Massey just unable to forge that opportunity for the Wanderers. Delivered forward now. Ergamal has one to beat in McComiskey. Holding the ball up well. Striking now. Not the option from Brianna Woodall. They do get a second effort though. Ergamal. Mariners getting into a good area there, but just unable to capitalise on it. Brianna Woodall trying to take the strike from range. They'll go again though, Trimmers. Paige Hayward showing that tenacity. Edge of the box now, Woodall. Here's Gomez. Into the box now, to the feet of Trimmers. Mariners more direct now as the game runs out of time. Here's Harding looking for her third. Sophie Harding saved by Dumont, denying the hat-trick. Still alive though for the Wanderers, and it'll all be directed towards number 9, I'm sure. They can't make an opportunity there. It was a heavy collision though.
And that's a great save by Dumont. Her defensive left her a little bit open there, allowing Sophie Harding just to cruise through 3 defenders in this moment. She comes out, she makes it a difficult angle for Harding to shoot from, and it's a very good save.
They will take a drinks break here with just over 10 minutes to go. A final push needed from the Mariners to get anything out of this game. At the moment for the Wanderers, perhaps either just feed Sophie Harding to get her that hat-trick or just hanging on. And here are the goals. This was the one to open it up. A great ball from Kush LaRue and the first from Sophie Harding.
Oh, terrific delivery by Rue. Great positioning by Harding, and a clinical header. Once again, we see the work rate of Caspers to pick up that second phase play and play Harding in. And again, she's just got so much confidence about herself right now. As a striker, given half a yard to execute a shot, you've got to be brave and you've got to have that belief, and Sophie Harding has it.
She certainly does. Putting on a show, and what a show this will be. A-League's Unite round, 12th to the 14th of January. 3 days, 12 matches, all teams. Get your tickets now. Get ready for non-stop football action. From junior football tournaments and gala days to loads of family fun. The experience is live music and a stunning Harbour City. And offers endless entertainment options for everyone. Make sure you get your tickets on aleagues.com.au. You do not want to miss the party. Just over 10 minutes to play. What a turnaround it would be for the Mariners if they could get a result here, get anything out of this game.
I think it's to do with the chroma. It's not balanced, it's chroma, I think.
We are back underway. Here's Irwin. Good turn. Here's Martin. Closed down by 3 shirts. That's well won by the Wanderers. Didn't give her any other option. Good team pressing in that moment. The wall's closed in on Annabelle Martin in that moment there. Here's Bruce. Great ball in behind Ash Irwin. Equal to it though. It's kept in play by Casey Dumont off the clearance. Abdul Masi into Matos. Just coming from an offside position. Does hit the crossbar though. And a change being made by the Mariners. Alexia Caristal coming on. And making way is Annabelle Martin. She's had a good game, been in the wars a little bit throughout this one.
Yeah, she has. She's a tough player, Annabelle Martin. She's a very, very good defender, and I dare say this is possibly a little bit of a tactical change by Husband, just to put somebody out there who's a little bit fresh and who might add a little bit more to the front third.
Annabelle Martin, also a budding young writer as well, has done some pieces for keeper.com.au and the likes.
extremely talented young lady. She's a former young Matilda, so she's represented her country. She's been around the A-League a long time and racked up a lot of match minutes here.
Started with the Melbourne Victory as a 16-year-old. Been Annabelle Martin and Ilka Galich able to draw the foul in the middle of the park. Darren King just pushing away Holly Caspers. The captain wanting to get things underway quickly, not wasting any time.
I love to see a bit of banter between the Sydney Uni teammates in King and Caspers.
Very familiar with each other. It's lifted in by Taryn King. To no avail, though. A little bit too much on it. Is Harrison. And that first goal completely changed the tide here at Wanderers Football Park. The mentality of both sides completely shifting.
I think what's been interesting is Western Sydney looking to retain a bit more possession this half as well, with some shorter, sharper passing. We saw them be very direct in the first half, but they've come out in the second half and they've actually adapted their play, which is a credit to the team in terms of being able to have that flexibility.
Things looking up for the Wanderers at the moment. Here's Abdul Masi. Abdul Masi wanting ball there, had a fair claim to it too. Here's Gomez. Wardlow. Here's Hayward. Delivered this time, headed away. You can see what a turnaround it has been from the Wanderers. They had around 30% possession in that first half. The second, they've gained back 10% and some. And still, despite not having the majority of possession, you can still get the win. And after the first goal, you might say Mariners are hard done by, but in this second half, Wanderers have really run away with it.
Yeah, they've definitely been on top. They've been clinical. I think a big part of it is the positioning of their central strikers. They're in that central goal zone for deliveries, which is a big change to the start of this match, where they were actually the ones delivering from the wide areas.
It's just the start of the weekend. But this win for the Wanderers sees them leapfrog their opponents today. Puts them up into 6th. Still with plenty of games to be played across the weekend. Sophie Harding just a little bit in pain after that run forward. Hopefully nothing major after how good she's been today and in the last few weeks, trying to run it off a little bit. Just that left knee perhaps giving her a little bit of grief. Push LaRue down the line. Here's Gordon. Gives away possession. Only for the moment. Urgamal unable to hang on. Abdul Masi. Caspers. Here's Matos. Looking for a teammate. Finds one in Gemma Ferris. Here's Matos. Ash Irwin. Just clearing it. And here is that incident, just that landing there, perhaps a little bit painful for Sophie Harding. Not one you like to see, and hopefully she's not hurt. Obviously up, walking, running around and playing now. I'm sure motivated by the carrot that is a third goal and a hat-trick. Four minutes left to play, though. You see one like that as it's found the feet of Sophie Harding, if she can get around Casey Dumont. That first touch, just not keeping it close enough. And almost for Sophie Harding. But when you see her landing like that, Leah Blaney, do you almost get a little bit worried? Especially with the state of play at the moment, with all the injuries we've seen to knees.
Yeah, look, any football action in the game where you see a player grab their calf, knee, ankle, whatever it might be, is always something that's concerning for anyone, Campbell.
Here's Abdul Masi. Good to see Sophie Harding not deterred for the moment. Here's Harrison. Here's Ferris. One of the substitutes this evening. Well left by Sophie Harding. Here's Matos. Danica Matos palmed away. And Holly Caspers rushing in. Just a little bit too far ahead of her mark. And changes being made by Robbie Hooker. Lauren Keir coming on. Great to see her back in the fold. Holly Caspers making way. And as to Sophie Harding too. Sure, she won't be happy about that on a hat-trick, but even still has put in such an industrious effort today.
Yeah, and I think it's a mature decision by Western Sydney to bring Harding off at this point in the match, and her replacements in Lauren Keir, who's a little bit more defensive-minded. We know that she's coming off the back end of injury, so great to see her out on the pitch tonight for Western Sydney.
Her first game since the 21st of January this year. Great to see her back in the fray for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Malia Morris coming on as well, the American. Will fill that void up front. Left by Caspers and Harding. And Lauren Keir just to shore up the defence. Here's Matos. Malia Morris to take the throw-in. And at the start of the season, Robbie Hooker coming in 10 games, or 10 days prior to the season getting underway. Bit of a rocky start from his side. They've seemingly turned it around now, Leah Blaney. Is there anything you're seeing that shows you why?
Yeah, look, I think for any coach to come into a new environment, it's going to be very difficult to start. At the end of the day, you didn't recruit those players. It might not be your playing system and those kind of things. So it's going to even take more time for this Western Sydney side to settle into the way Hooker wants to play. But what I'm seeing is there's a lot more positivity in this Western Sydney side. They're looking to go forward. There's a belief in the playing group that they can score goals, which I think is a big shift from the start of the season for them, and it's great to see.
Also seen the Brisbane Roar shift coaching staffs as well. Gareth McPherson leaving the club. Alex Smith now in up there. Quite a big change in the Liberty A-League as well. Gareth McPherson, the first coach to be sacked in a Liberty A-League season, not seen prior. Alex Smith breaking new grounds on that part as well.
Yeah, look, and I'm excited to see what Smith brings to Brisbane Roar. We know his pedigree. We know he's spent a lot of time at Melbourne City, where they play a very proactive brand of football. So, again, another situation where you'll see a coach really implement their playing style and what they're about, not until later stages of this season.
Of course, we have seen coaches leave posts mid-season and the like. A yellow card shown here as well. Robbie Hooker, unsure as to why. Casey Rybell laying down the law. Wanderers were wanting to play quickly, but just shut down. And the ball in now towards Matty McComiskey, and Casey Jamont able to get on to the end of it. Time running out here. 5 minutes added on at Wanderers Football Park. Here's Wardlow. Brianna Woodall. Paige Hayward has been hard-working today down that left-hand side for the Central Coast Mariners, who are still missing Kaya Simon. Such a big signing in this off-season. Still waiting for her to come into the fold. Obviously such a Matildas legend. We hope she'll be playing very soon. Not too much longer out, one would hope. Wanderers with players out of their own too. Caceres suffering an injury earlier in the campaign.
And what a fantastic addition Caceres will be to this Western Sydney side. She just brings another dimension to the midfield or the front two with her creativity and her technical ability.
Millie Clegg as well. Now out, such a promising young player. Hopefully not for too long. Millie Clegg obviously had to wait and bide her time until she was 18. Wasn't able to play for the Wanderers for their first few games of the season. Such an exciting young player. Here's Millie Clegg. King launching it forward. Mariners can't do anything with it though, and Western Sydney getting towards time-wasting territory. Sham Khamis happy to take up any seconds she can. Here's Morris driving forward now down that right-hand side. Does go out though. Here's Wardlow with the throw-in. Here's Gomez. He's been such a key part of this midfield, sitting at the base, controlling the play. Such a good young player. Here's Ergamal. Can they get a consolation, the Mariners? It's out wide now. Delivered in a looping fashion on that right-hand side. Here's Gomez driving forward. Touch inside from the Mariners. Woodall. And they just can't make anything of it. And that is full time here at Wanderers Football Park in the first ever meeting between the Mariners and the Wanderers. The hosts come out on top thanks to Sophie Harding's brace. Her fifth in her last 3 games. Delivers the Wanderers all 3 points and back-to-back wins. A fantastic result for Robbie Hooker's side. It ends here at Wanderers Football Park. Western Sydney Wanderers 3, Central Coast Mariners 0. And Sophie Harding's goal in that first half really turned the tide right before half-time, Leah Blaney.
Certainly was. Clinical finish as we've seen, and a delivery by Kush LaRue to pick out Sophie Harding at the top of the 6-yard box there. You see she gets her head up, she's aware of where her teammate is, and it's a fantastic ball in.
Her first of the night. And what a purple patch she's in. This one to forget as well for Taryn King, giving the Wanderers their second with an own goal.
Yeah, it's a great redirected delivery in by Price. Central Coast is stepping up in that moment. Price sees that and is able to find Harding in behind.
Casey Dumont unable to claim as well. And how good was this from Sophie Harding? Gets it on her left, puts it away.
Oh, it's a great strike with a non-preferred foot there by Harding.
You can see now, just off screen, she does have that left hamstring with some ice. Having a chat to Tom Samani as well, and she'll be happy, that's for sure. Let's have a look at the stats at full time. Wanderers really fighting back to maintain more possession there.
Yeah, a better second half by Western Sydney. Central Coast are going to feel a little bit hard done by. They did have some good passages of play, but at the end of the day, being clinical is what counts.
Well, they capitalised on it, and this is a point of concern for the Western Sydney Wanderers. She's been so good for them in their last few games. 5 goals in her last 3. Hopefully nothing major. And it is hugs all round for Sophie Harding as she delivers the Western Sydney Wanderers back-to-back wins, and it ends here at Wanderers Football Park. Western Sydney 3, Central Coast Mariners 0.